Well, we didn't think they would do it, and it turns out they decided to say, surprise, here you go, here's some new footage from The Rise of Skywalker. So, thanks D23, we really appreciate it. Hello everybody, and welcome back to another movie news video. My name is Joker, and today, sadly, it is not a reaction video. I'm so sorry, but I could not resist the temptation at 7:30 this morning while I was waiting for my class to start. D23 put out the new, I guess you can call it a teaser trailer for Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker, and I just had to watch it. I had to get something to get me motivated to go through the day, but now, instead of a reaction video, we're going to do a full-blown trailer breakdown for you guys, only showing the new stuff from Episode 9, because everything else in the trailer was just scenes from the rest of the movies that we've already seen. And I think this is much more beneficial because there is a lot. But there's absolutely so much in this trailer to break down, it's ridiculous. A lot of it's calling back to even some books, maybe. Let's talk about what we're seeing here, and let's just go from there. So the first couple screenshots we have the whole crew. We've got Poe, Finn, Rey, Chewie, and C-3PO on the new desert planet, and I think it's the new one that we've been talking about called Pisana that was announced back in May, I believe. But it's this new desert area. We all thought it was going to be Tatooine or Jakku, or maybe it's a city and not a planet, but I'm pretty sure that's the planet. And we have this whole, what looks like a festival going on right now. There's like an entire tribe of people that live on this planet. I don't know what is going on. There's not much else to talk about with these two scenes, but it's very different. It's very bright, vibrant, very colorful. And it's also kind of interesting, and I guess it is still kind of keeping with that original trilogy theme, because Episode 6, Return to the Jedi, starts off on Tatooine in the desert. So I'm not saying this is going to start here, but it's definitely looking like, opposed to Crate looking like a snow planet, as opposed to Hoth for Episode 5, now going into Episode 9 being reverted to Episode 6. Instead of Tatooine, we're getting Pisana. So just some weird tidbits going on there. I don't know if that's intentional or not, but it's definitely different. We haven't seen much like this before. I wonder if this is going to be like the Ewoks of the series. Who knows? But there's a little bit more. So we get our first shot at Leia. Now, we all know Carrie Fisher passed away a few years ago now, and it is still just heartbreaking to think about it, but they're using brand new footage that we had never saw from Episode 7, The Force Awakens, to fill in her character in this movie, and it's kind of been based around these scenes to make it fit and make it seem like it's not out of place. I'm personally okay with this. I believe in J.J. Abrams. I believe in whatever they're going to do to make this actually happen, so I'm just not going to say anything on that. I'm going to assume they're going to do it justice for Carrie Fisher, and I'm happy that she's involved in the movie in whatever way, shape, or form they can actually do it without it being CGI for her family's request. So we can all be happy about that. But moving on is where it gets really nerdy. So we get this shot of all these ships flying out of hyperspace. And first thing you notice, I was like, awesome, we got an X-Wing. And then I noticed there's a little bit more in this picture here than just the X-Wing. So first of all, we have the Rebel Blockade Runner, the one that is made from Alderaan that we see in the very beginning of A New Hope. Not saying it's the same. I don't think it's the Tantive-4. I'm pretty sure that got destroyed when the Star Destroyer took it out. I'm wondering why the ship is being involved now. And what's this giant ship up above it next to it? I'm wondering, could that possibly be the same pod that dropped Rey off on Jakku? Probably not, but it's obviously not the Millennium Falcon, so I'm just throwing ideas out there. At one point thought it was the Ghost, but after seeing a higher resolution image of it, definitely not the Ghost, but let me know what you guys think. Leave a comment down below. What ship is that? But we're not done here either way. So we've got these, and we can see some A-Wings in here too, but what's that? We've got some Y-Wings now. The Y-Wing was confirmed from LEGO. I talked about that in yesterday's video when that LEGO set went out for the Resistance Y-Wing set. So now this just double confirms that the Y-Wing is going to be in Episode 9. And not only that, but we have B-Wing fighters too. So we got the whole Alphabet Squadron up in here. Read that book if you haven't. X-Wings, Y-Wings, A-Wings, and B-Wings. So that's great. Awesome callback to Return to the Jedi as well. The whole squad rolling up to come fight evil. Only to see on the other side, we get this awesome, dark, scary shot of a giant militia of Imperial Star Destroyers. Not First Order Star Destroyers, original Imperial Star Destroyers. Now, we're getting into the really nerdy part, so let's talk this through. If you are unaware, some of the first new canon novels to come out was a series called Aftermath, written by Chuck Wendig. The last book in the trilogy of Aftermath is called Empire's End, and in the very last chapter through the epilogue, it talks about Palpatine's secret army that he had hid on the unknown regions of space that were just waiting for the time to be beckoned upon for them to come back out of the shadows and take over the galaxy yet again. This was, I don't know if this is one of his contingency plans because it doesn't really explain that much, but we know that a giant militia of Star Destroyers was just chilling out in unknown space, just waiting to see what happens. And it's interesting because in the book it follows Grand Admiral Rey Sloane as she's trying to figure out where a bunch of these ships are, because she's going through archives trying to figure out all the Star Destroyers that they have left and seeing where everything is so they can bring all of the Empire's like broken up pieces back together so it can hold out against the Resistance. But she notices that there's a few that say, just as an example, it's like they claim that some are over by Tatooine, but they're not there. They're just not there anymore. I can't remember the specific locations, but it's ships that were supposed to be there that weren't. And one of them was the Eclipse. Yes, you remember the Eclipse, the giant one from Legends. It's canon again. I don't know if it's the exact same design, but it's Palpatine's flagship, the Super Star Destroyer, the Eclipse. I don't know if it's in here, but it could possibly be here with the rest of these Star Destroyers. Since they're all in that same family, I mean, why not? So I find it interesting that we're getting these two shots of just literally just rows of hundreds of Star Destroyers, and the reason I think it's like the unknown regions is the dark area. There's lightning everywhere. It's really dark. I mean, this could be a planet for all I know, but I mean, this could potentially be his militia that he had out waiting in the unknown regions of space, just coming out once Palpatine is back. Since he's back now in Episode 9, no matter how much Chuck Wendig denies it on Twitter, and I understand, if he has to deny that stuff, if, there's legal rights there, but I mean, I'm not necessarily saying that this is what this is, but if it is something similar to that, it's a great callback to what we've seen in canon novels, showing how we can slowly move canon from novels, TV shows, comic books into the main line of movies. So, one, this is really awesome. I'm super excited to see what this scene has to do, because at first glance, this is traumatizing. You just chilling through space and boom. Militia of Star Destroyers. What do? Nothing but run. That's exactly what you do. Let's keep going. So a new shot here from the inside of a ship, it looks like. We've got Finn and the new character Jannah, I believe, who is played by Naomi Adkins. Not really sure what her role is going to be here with Finn, but something interesting after looking back at the scene, if you look just to the left of Naomi Adkins, where her hairline kind of cuts out, you see a little bit of a helmet, and you can even see like some gloved hands on some control sticks there. And based on the look of the helmet and the look of the design, obviously it's a Resistance fighter, but if you look at the windows here on the side of the cockpit, it looks very much so like the Resistance bomber that we saw in The Last Jedi. So it's very possible that they are on board one of these. I don't think it's the Millennium Falcon. It looks a little too clean, and I don't think they could fit all those people up in front. And if it was the Millennium Falcon, we'd probably see Chewie or Lando somewhere in there too. So I'm going to put my money on it now that this is actually a Resistance bomber. So we're going to have those alongside the Y-Wing bombers. We're bombing everything now. Moving forward, we get into more of the little bit of the lore and bringing canon into the main movies thing that I was talking about. We got a look at C-3PO with some evil red eyes. Now, this could be a lot of things. The first thing that comes to mind is perhaps it's the whole essence transfer thing that we've been talking about with Palpatine. We saw it in the comics. We saw it in the original novels. It's not far-fetched to bring anything from Legends back into canon, because it does happen. But here's a couple of ideas that I have for this. Either one, he is possessed by something, be it another like AI or some like artificial system that's been plugged into him and he's being overtaken by that, or it's a callback to 000. And I'm kind of putting my money on that one because I just think it would be cool. But 000 was a protocol droid that was in the Vader comics. That's when it first appeared alongside with Dr. Aphra. And unlike C-3PO, which was designed for etiquette and protocol, this one is designed for etiquette and torture. It is a gleaming silver droid with red eyes that is just made to torture people. That's its purpose. It looks just like C-3PO. It's the same model protocol droid, but they just call it 000. Now, obviously, you're already like, well, he's gold. It can't be the same thing. Well, in one of the story arcs, they actually spray paint 000 gold to have him blend in and pretend to be C-3PO when he's talking to Luke. I don't know exactly how the arc goes. I'm not that far yet, but here's just like an image showing exactly what happens. So we have him spray painted gold. So this could be a callback to that. Maybe this is actually 000 and he happened to be here because, I mean, he's not been destroyed yet. He's still alive in the comic run right now. So who knows what this could be? I'm going to say, so it's either a 000 callback of some sorts, or he's being taken over by some other computer system of some sort, be it hacking, slicing, anything really. There's a lot that it could be, but I'm interested to see what's going on because I don't think C-3PO has had a big enough role in these films as he should have. I understand it's more about the new cast than it is the old, but I think it's still nice for the fact that, you know, C-3PO is still around. He should be able to do stuff and not talk about his pointless red arm. Now, this one, I have two theories. One, it's either just a callback to Starkiller Base because it is that very snowy aspect and this planet is absolutely getting wrecked. And the red is what gives that away. Or going back to my other theory, if the Eclipse is involved or some other super weapon Star Destroyer, the Eclipse was actually built in with a focus dish very similar to the Death Star that was made to take out fleets. So, but it also, like the Death Star, shot out a green laser. So maybe they're going to do something like that because of Starkiller Base. It had the red laser of doom, I guess, whatever you want to call it. I'm wondering if now if they're going to do the Eclipse or something similar to the Eclipse, that it'll have the same frequency and have just a red focus beam, just like Starkiller Base. And I don't know if this is destroying the entire planet. It does look like it's getting a big chunk out of it, but again, we don't know. Moving forward here, we get another shot of what could possibly be Endor. There's a lot here. Okay, so Endor... There's so much talk about the Death Star in the first trailer we got. Where's the Death Star? Is this Death Star 1? Is it the Death Star 2? Are we on Yavin 4 or are we on the moon of Endor? This possibly looks like the forest moon of Endor, so if that's the case, I'm wondering if we're leaning more towards it being the Death Star 2, which would make more sense for Palpatine's return since he was on the Death Star 2. But the point of this is that we got a forestry area, and she's practicing her saber skills. And if you look here, we got a little red droid, very similar to the same probe that Luke was using to practice in A New Hope. So we got, again, more callbacks to the original trilogy. But she's practicing her saber throw, just dashing through trees, as you can see. She's already cut one in half, and now she's going through another one. And it's just awesome looking. I'm not sure what the whole red ribbon in her hand is supposed to be about. I'm sure we'll get more news on that once we actually watch the movie. Either way, I'm excited to see that her skills are still going hard, and when she doesn't have her staff, apparently she just has a giant stick. So, I mean, why not? So these next couple clips are coming from Kylo Ren walking away from his TIE fighter with his lightsaber ignited. A couple things about this shot from first glance. I'm wondering if this is a Vision-esque scene. And the only reason I say this is because most of the time when we have these visions in Star Wars, they're very cloudy and very misty, as we've seen in both Episode 7 and Episode 8. But just kind of looking at the cloud coverage coming in the background, there's also a lot of lightning. So I'm wondering if this is also probably the same scene in which we see the Legion of Star Destroyers. So this could all just be visions of like, here's what's gonna happen if Palpatine comes back. Maybe, I'm not sure, but I mean, so this looks like Vision Land kind of thing. So this isn't what's real. This is what could happen depending on the outcome of the movie. That's what I'm gonna put my money on, and I think it would make more sense playing into the story. And now moving in toward the end, we're getting these final scenes that everyone's been talking about, and of course, that is the final lightsaber battle between Rey and Kylo. And looking at it, at first we saw these images. We saw some pictures that were taken early on, and then we saw the poster that was released a couple days ago. Everyone was thinking they were on top of the Millennium Falcon during this fight, but now, after we're looking at it and they're pulling back, this is aboard the Death Star. This is the stuff that's fallen into the ocean. The only reason I'm saying it's the Death Star is, one, we saw the focus dish just laying in the ocean in the end of the first trailer. And now, if you look a little bit to the left here, you'll see this like giant turbo laser cannon that we've seen from the Death Star trench run. We've seen that movie a million times. You know what that is. And even if you look just back, there's just a much more debris laying in this ocean. So they're definitely fighting on the Death Star. Palpatine's going to be involved somehow in here. I'm not sure how, but it's coming, so be ready for it. Which, of course, leads us to the last frame of the movie, this evil Darth Rey. So, there's a couple things here. One, check out her lightsaber. Her lightsaber is dope as hell. This giant double-bladed lightsaber. And there's so much to this scene. First of all, it doesn't really look like Rey. I'm going to go either with the whole essence transfer possession thing, or maybe it's not Rey. Maybe it's a clone. We had the observatory in Jakku that was also discussed in the Aftermath series, where Palpatine had a secret lair under the ground of Jakku that no one really knew what it was there for or what it was about. We still don't really know all of what was going on there. There was also the talk originally about Rey being a clone of Palpatine that was actually hidden in the observatory, and that's why she was on Jakku. She wasn't left there. She just happened to be there. We don't know. So it's possible that this could be an altered clone that is evil. It could also be another Force vision of something that is to come if, Palpatine returns and everything goes according to his plan, or everything going according to my design, as he says in episode 6. But just looking at her, it doesn't really look like her. Granted, I know the dark side really twists you physically and mentally and emotionally, so you look a little different. But it's just she's not even blinking, man. She's just blindly staring. So it's very possible that this is Rey. Very possible that it's a clone or something else. I will say if it's real and she actually turns to the dark side, they've got a lot of cleanup to do in this movie. So I don't see that actually happening and it ending well. But another interesting tidbit to add on to that is that also her lightsaber. This is not the first time we've seen a collapsible lightsaber handle like this. We've seen these kind of hilts before in the Star Wars Rebels TV series when Kanan is going through his trials in his mind and there's the Jedi Sentinels there. They have the golden blades that fold up and then they spread out to become a dual-bladed hilt. Very much so like we just saw here. So that's kind of interesting, and the dark side has all these really wacky designs anyway. The lightsaber itself is very similar to Kylo's. It's like a fractured crystal of some sort, so it's got the whole little fiery effect. It even sounds the same. So I don't know what the deal is with the whole red lightsaber thing and it not being a true lightsaber. I don't know if this is a permanent change. I'm not a big fan of it. If that is the case, I would rather it have the full steady beam like everyone else has. But it is also talked about in the visual guide for The Force Awakens with Kylo's crossguard hilt is that the crystal is fractured and that's why it has the whole frizzy thing going on. So I'm wondering if that's playing into this. Also, my reasoning as to why this is probably a vision of some sort or it's not actually real and it's happening just because it's probably a callback to if Palpatine's if I didn't get Ben Solo, I could get Rey. Kind of what could happen? Maybe this is a vision, maybe Ben Solo's on the light side and Rey's on the dark side, and that's why her lightsaber's like this, because she built it at the same point in time. So she gets the crackly fractured crystal instead. Again, who knows? All vision, but also with the background here. The first time I saw this, I thought she was in the forest again, but it's not. There's actually got what could be plates, could be stone. This could be on the Death Star. This could be on a Star Destroyer. It could be some really smooth rock formations. We've seen that before, but it's kind of hard looking at it. I want to say, based on where her lightsaber is sitting, there is that kind of crack right there in the side of the wall, which gives me the belief that it is a metal of some sort. So I'm going to assume she's either in the Death Star or on a Star Destroyer somewhere. And boom, there you go. There is my entire breakdown of the new trailer for Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. So much going on here, and there's just a lot to focus on just in these few little scenes here, but it's amazing and it's awesome, and I am so damn excited. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. Did you like this trailer? Did you like anything you saw in the trailer? Did you not like some of the things you saw in the trailer? Let me know in the comments down below. Let me know what scene you like the most, what scene you like the least. Let's talk about it. Let's get a discussion going. And also, do you think I'm right? Do you think any of my predictions here are correct? Do you think I'm completely crazy? Do you think none of this is real and it's all going to get retconned? I don't know. Leave a comment down below. Let's talk about it. But until we get another trailer, which hopefully will be still in October for Monday Night Football, since they've been following that trend for a while now. Since we didn't really get a full-blown trailer, we got about a minute and 10 seconds of footage from episodes 1 through 8. And then the rest of it was episode 9 footage, so who knows? We still got a lot more to see. So hopefully we'll get a trailer, and if not, then we'll just have to wait for the movie to come out in December. But until then, that'll be it for this video, guys. Remember, if you like what you saw, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know in the comments down below if you want to see more movie news videos, or if you'd like to see anything else. But until then, and as always, I will see you guys next time.